Imagine a world where you knew that you mattered and you belonged. The people cared about you because we were so darn good at listening to one another, no matter how different we are. That is what Sidewalk Talk is doing by putting listeners on sidewalks all over the world so that we can practice the art of connecting. Join me, founder and director Tracy Rubel, as I interview experts on the fine art of human connection and interview some of our volunteers who've been listening on the sidewalk and even some of the folks that we've listened to. And if you want to volunteer, consider joining us at sidewalk-talk.org. Nana Churcher is the host and executive producer of the Nana Churcher Show, and I think she is the model of human connecting. And she has a way of listening and caring about people that I just want you to hear. She has the #1 talk show in the African Caribbean diaspora. She has been to the BET Experience and interviewed all kinds of international artists and politicians. She won the Best Media Personality by Women for Africa Awards, and her talk show was nominated as the favorite talk show led by a woman by the Screen Nations Award in the UK. So without further ado, I want you to hear from Nana Churcher. Oh, and don't forget, she has a new book out called The Power of Your Words. Again, about how we speak to ourselves and others. Put some vibes out there in the world. So you'll hear her talk more about that. Again, Nana Churcher. So, Nana Churcher, you have this gift, and I was drawn to you. I found you. I kind of sleuthed you out on LinkedIn, and then I saw your show, the Nana Churcher Show, and I watched a few of your YouTube videos, and then I was really intrigued by the book that you came out with in the summer, The Power of Your Words. And I'm like, I got to talk to this lady. I want to know what she's about.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
I imagine you have something. It seems like you're a natural connector, and I feel like what I'm on a mission to do is to learn how to connect better. So tell me a little bit about the Nana Churcher Show and about your book and what this whole thing is that you're trying to serve your audience with.
Okay, so as you said, I'm Nana Churcher, and thank you so much for having me on your show, or on your podcast. The Nana Churcher Show was birthed many, many years ago. I believe when I was in primary school, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be either a show host or an air hostess. So in school, when it came to story time, I think I'm very creative. So when it came to story time, I can sit and come up with a story, which even in doing that and thinking about it now, it really fascinated me. And so when I finished my O levels, I used to watch the Oprah Winfrey show, way back in the day in Ghana, we got to watch it. And then when I finished school, I wanted to work with these TV stations. I think I got one to do an internship with, but everywhere I went, there was kind of a roadblock. So I gave up on it. And then my parents brought me to the UK to study airline.
Okay.
And when I finished, I went back home. They said I wasn't too tall enough to be an air hostess.
Home was Ghana, correct? You were in Ghana.
Yes, home is Ghana. Yes, okay. Home is Ghana. So I came back and I met my husband here in the UK. So I was doing, bits and bobs. But then because I had this passion of interviewing people, I will always come up with something to interview. But then I wasn't getting the breakthrough. I was so frustrated, Tracy. It was unbelievable. So I gave up. And then I got married. The kids came along. I have 4 kids.
Oh, wow.
3 girls and a boy. And then when I was pregnant with the boy, one day I was just sitting down. I said, this show is really eating me up. Who is going to help me? Because it looked like nobody understood what I wanted to do. And as I said, the TV stations weren't, I don't know whether they weren't taking me. I don't know what was it. But then now I know that maybe it was for me to start my own thing. Sometimes when you want people to buy into what you're doing and they don't buy into it, you create it, you start it, and then later on they come and buy into it. So my boy came along, and then a friend of ours had a party, and the MC did not turn up. So they said, "Oh, Nana, could you be the MC for the program for us? At least we know that you're always looking sharp, and come and host the program." So I went, and then after it, everybody was like, "Oh wow!" Because what I was doing was people were just sitting at their table, very bored. So I was going to table by table, asking people, "Oh, what do you think about the couple? Are you happy for them? How did you get to know them?" So in a way, I was kind of interviewing people.
Yeah.
So when I came off, oh, this is good. So I told my husband, "Look, I still want to do the show." And he said, "I give you my blessings, go for it." And then Tracy, he said, "Go for it." But then I had no camera, nothing.
So this
And
is
then,
completely self-created. I mean, you just went for it on your
yes,
own.
I
Amazing.
just went for it on my own. So a friend came along, and I say this, so it's been my childhood dream. If you have something that you so want to do, God brings people your way to help you do it.
Mm.
A friend of mine came, he had just come from Afghanistan, and we were going down the road to buy food, take out food. And I asked him, he's called Yao. And I said, "Yeah, so what are you going to do after this, back from Afghanistan? What are you going to do with your life?" And he said to me, "Oh, I'm studying videography at the uni." I said, "You're in media and you're studying videography. I want to start my show. Would you help me?" He said, "Oh yeah, why not?" So I said, "Okay, bring the camera. Let's go to, we in where I live, we have a barber shop, and the guy is from Ghana." I said, "Let's go to him and ask him, how he started his barber shop and all that." So he brought his camera. We forgot about the food we were going to buy. That was how fired up I was. And so we went to the barber shop, and I said, "Look, I am trying to start a show, and I need to interview you. You've been in this country for a while. You have about three barber shops, and tell me how you started off." So that was how the Nana Cheche show was born. And it was so funny that the people that were there to, cut their hairs, they were all into it. I was into it. So people were like, "Oh, they didn't even know how he had started." So everybody was like, "Oh, wow." And then after that, he said, "Nana, is this going to go on TV?" Or I said, one day it's going to be on TV, but, I'm just starting. So, and then we came, yeah, edited it. I think we were just, posting it to friends. And then a week later, he came and said, "Oh, something has come up." And so, no, before that, England and Ghana were going to play. So, every
You're
time
talking about football, yes?
yes,
Okay.
football,
I'm
they
American,
came.
so Americans
Yeah, so
sometimes
that would
don't. Yeah.
be soccer.
Soccer.
Soccer, yes, that's soccer. So England and Ghana were going to play soccer just a week after I've done the barbershop. And then um, when I saw it on social media, for something came in my mind. Oh, why don't I get the Ghana team? Why don't I interview them and then see how it's going to go? Meanwhile, I knew no one on the team, so I sat there for, okay. I have this friend who is a journalist. Why don't I contact him and see if he can link me to somebody in the Ghanaian team? And thankfully,
No kidding.
I contacted him. He linked me to someone, and then the next thing is this. Well, it took like 24 hours. They were like, "Okay, we'll get back to you." They weren't get back to me. I said, "Oh God, let this happen for me." And then it happened. It
Wow.
happened, and I took my cameras, and well, not my cameras then. It was my friend's camera. The
Yeah.
cameraman came. We went, and I interviewed them. So we put that on YouTube. I was so excited. And whatever we do, you have to have that passion for it.
Yeah.
And so I was telling everyone about it. I said, go check out my YouTube video on the Ghana team when they were here to play a friendly match with the England team. And then my friend here came on back and said, "Oh, Nana, I have to. Um, Something has come up, and I can't do this thing with you anymore." I was so heartbroken. But then a day later, Tracy, a friend of us came. The wife was passing, saw us out. I said, "Oh, we've been looking for you guys," and called the husband. He came and said, "Have you seen my YouTube video on the Ghana team?" And he said, "Oh, you started the show." I said, "Yes, but my cameraman is giving up on me." He said, "Did you know that 2 houses down from you, the guy there is a media guy, Tracy?" And those people were my friends, but I had
No
no
idea.
idea.
Wow.
So as soon as he finished talking, I just went straight to the house, knocked, and I said, I asked the wife, "Where's your husband?" I said, "Tell him I so want to see him." So in the evening, he called me and said, "I've got a show. I've got a show, and the world needs to know about this show." So I showed them the YouTube video, and they said, "Oh, you've got charisma. You've got something. Okay, let's meet. I'll call my partner. Let's sit down, have a meeting, and see how we would make this happen for you." So we sat down, we had a meeting. That was okay. We're going to do it. Nana show, Nana Church show, the Nana Church show, and then I said I prefer the Nana Church show. So that was how the Nana Church show was born, Tracy.
So I am just hearing a complete sense of determination, but also a real faith that, you know what, if this is meant to be, it's going to be put in the opportunity is going to come my way.
Definitely.
Not everybody has
Definitely.
that though. What is unique about
Definitely.
you that you seem to make that stuff happen?
It's belief.
Yeah.
It's belief and passion.
Yeah.
And as I said, and my dream and everything that you want to do in life, you've got to breathe life into it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is going to do it for you. So hear this. When we started, because this was a big production house, they were doing things for the Ghana High Commission. Then we started, I think we did about 5 series or 5 episodes, and they were like, "Oh, we need money. You have to get sponsorship." And when I didn't even think of sponsorship. All I wanted to do was to get what was burning inside out. So it got to a point I was frustrated. I said, "Okay, forget you people," because it's like a little fish in a big sea, you know.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Forget them. They're making me frustrated." I cried, and then I went shopping, and when it came for me to pay, there was this guy at the other side of the till, and he said, "Oh, Nana, I know you have seen your video." I said, "Oh, really? Did you like it?" He said, "Oh, I'm a videographer." I said, "Really? Come on."
Of course that happened to you. Oh my gosh.
I
So
said, "Tracy," I told him, I said, "Please don't pay. I'll pay for you. Just join, bring your stuff and add it to my stuff, and let's talk." So after that, we sat in my car and said, "You've seen it. This is what would you come on board and work with me?" He said yes. The next day we're filming
wow.
again. I'm like, "Oh God, this is so
Well,
So yeah, so it's determination and passion and just breathing belief into whatever
yeah.
I'm doing.
Well, I want to bring the audience in a little bit to what the Nana Churcher show is about and who you're trying to serve. Like, who do you interview? Who do you have on? And why do you pick the people that you do?
The Nana Cheche show, first of all, because I'm a very positive person,
Yep.
and
I couldn't tell that at all.
I believe in each and every one of us have greatness, but then sometimes we don't get others to tell us.
Mm.
And so I decided to use my platform or my show to help share stories of others who are making it, to bring the greatness out of other people.
Mm.
There's some people like maybe yourself, you've done things that there is another lady out there somewhere who so want to do something similar to what you're doing, but maybe they're so down, maybe they haven't gotten the opportunity, maybe they don't get the support, and you might have a similar story. So when I bring you on my show, when I bring an individual or a professional, a mother, a business person on the show, and the viewer watches it, at the end of the day, they should take something that stirs something in them to say, hey, if Tracy is doing it, if Nana is doing it, then I think I can do it. And so the show is to inspire, is to educate, is to motivate and entertain. So, of course, we have to laugh, we have to learn, we have to inspire, and all these, adds up to make and bring the greatness out of people. That's what the Nanyang Churches show stand for.
So it's through the art, if I hear you correctly, I mean, aside from your incredibly positive energy, you bring and elevate stories of others that are going to sort of combine with your positive energy to motivate your listener to go bigger in their life or reach for whatever it is they want to reach for.
Definitely, definitely. Because all of us have something to give to the world.
Yeah.
There is no person that everyone that I meet, I say, look, there's greatness in you. Maybe somebody needs to, there are people that, others have to tell them, and there's others that are self-motivated. So either way, the show is to just bring the greatness out of whoever comes into contact in watching or listening to what we are doing.
Yeah. Well, so much about what we're doing is about connection. And I imagined by having you on that you might have something to teach me and the rest of our listeners that sit out on sidewalks, this beautiful way that you have to draw these stories out of people. Like, what is your secret sauce, or how do you think that you're able to get people to open up and share these motivating stories?
Sometimes it amazes me myself that I meet somebody and within a minute the person just opens up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's honestly I can't even pinpoint, but I think it's the way I approach people. I think it's the way I make people feel around me.
Yeah.
I make people feel important no matter who you are. I give people attention. I make a conscious effort that whoever is right there in front of me, you have all my attention. And it connects. We humans we spirit, and when you have that sweet spirit, when you have that positive spirit, when you have that what's the word, I tell my friends who are graduates, say you are the university people, it's the spirit connects,
Yeah.
so when somebody is with you and you are genuine, they can feel it,
Yeah.
and so when you open up to them and you make them feel so important, they just open up to you. And I think that's the gift that maybe I've been blessed with, honestly.
Well, I can already, I mean, if I can share, I'm on the receiving end of this, right? And I'm just getting to know you. And for those of you that you didn't hear us talking before we hit record, but Nana and I are connecting through Zoom, and she had her camera on. I said, "Oh, Nana, I just got back from the grocery store and I don't have any makeup on." She said, "Oh, Tracy, it's okay." And there was just such a sweetness, and then here I'm interviewing you, and yeah, you're talking about yourself, but I'm sure that these folks that when you interview someone, they're going to either talk about themselves or to talk to connect, and I can feel you talking with me to connect. And so it just is right in line with what you said. You said, I make people feel important. I am, even while you're talking about yourself, I feel like you're giving me your attention.
Oh, thank you.
right? I mean, I'm just amplifying that because I know our listeners are learning to connect more with others on the sidewalk, and
Mm.
just wanted to highlight that maybe you all that are listening can feel it, but can you feel I mean, you clearly have this gift of being able to do that because of the way, and you keep using my name. You keep saying
Yeah.
Tracy.
Yeah.
No one does that. And every time you do, I'm like, oh, she actually cares about me.
Of course, you see, we live in a world that everybody is attention is taking because we are trying to work hard to pay the bills, to do this. So our attention is so divided,
Mm,
you know, and if it hurts, and
yeah,
you don't want to do. There is a saying that you do unto others what you want others to do onto you, right?
hmm,
So if I'm talking to you and you're looking the other way, or I'm not having your full attention, it hurts me.
yeah,
I kind of feel like, oh, it's like you're not there, but
yeah,
you want to be in the moment. If you're talking to someone, you've got to be in the moment. Your presence should be felt,
yeah,
and when your presence is felt, obviously then the connection is great, and that is
mm,
when you're able to open up,
yeah,
but if I'm talking to you and you're doing something else, I'm like, okay, she doesn't really care, she doesn't want to listen. There's no way I'm going to be in my head. I block you.
hmm,
I'm not
hmm,
just going to. I'm just going to be, oh yes, and walk away. And I
mm,
think in this day and age, we need that again. We need that for our children. We need that for our spouses. We need that for our colleagues. You'll be
yeah,
working with people. You're talking to them, and they're typing, and they're on their phone. Especially
yeah.
now that where everybody is on their phone.
Oh,
You'll
right.
be talking to people, and they'll be scrolling, and sometimes you feel like just take the phone and just throw it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that for sure.
You
So
understand?
totally. And so I'm going to pivot a little bit. Because I want to make time for this other piece that really intrigued me. Tell me about your book that came out in July.
No.
It's a shorter book, but it feels as I'm getting to know you like you, right? The power of your words. So what
Yes.
motivated you to write this book, and how is it part of your story?
I've always wanted to write, but there is timing for everything.
Yeah.
And as I said, with the stories that, when way back in school, when I would just write some stories and things, and there's so much in me, Tracy, so much that, as one grows, it will come out gradually. So I had this little book I call the Nana Bible, and every day
The
I
Nana Bible.
scribble.
Nice.
Yes, if you look on my link, if you see I do a post, I try and do a post every morning. Try to be consistent and do that post. So I write it sometimes when I'm driving, I'm whatever I'm doing, I have this with me. So when a word drops, and I'm a Christian, I'm very spiritual as well. So whenever something drops in my heart, I write it down, and
Mm.
then I'll say, okay, I might use it as a post for tomorrow, or when the timing is right, or sometimes just there and then I'll post it. So um last year I said, I let me bring this out. I wanted to do it before I got married, and it never happened. So I said, no, this has got to come out last year. So last year, last year, it looks like a lot of people were writing books. I thought, okay, let me bring my book out. And then I went online to research, and Lulu Publishers popped up, and then I sent it an inquiry to find out, how much it costs and all that to publish a book. And then the codes came up for, okay, I'm not ready for that, because the show itself, because I travel and do that, the budget is just too much. And then this year, the beginning of the year was on my to-do list to do it, to make it happen. And then when I said that, interestingly, I got an email from one of the consultants at Lulu, sending me an email, said, oh, what happened to your book, your project. And it was the same that happened to my show too. It got to a point I stopped, and then I got a call from the TV station here in UK. Said, what happened to your show? So when I get that, I thought, okay, it's time. Something is happening. So I told him always, because my finances, I wasn't ready for. He said, no, we can make it work. So let's make it work. So I'm thankful to that guy. I told him, I said, okay, I'm going to make it work. And then he came to me. They sent me an email, send me what I had to do, and then I had to do the manuscript. So I started typing. I have a wonderful husband. He supports me 120%. So he came. I said, honey, I'm going to make this book come out. This baby of mine. I call them. So my show and my book are my babies too. So I said, this baby is coming out.
Yeah, I feel you on this one. Yes.
This baby's got to be pushed out. So I brought it. I wrote it, reread it. And I first, it was whether it was a dream or the words. And I thought, every day I speak great words. I speak positive words into the life of people. It could be my church friend, my church family, people in the media world. I make sure as much as I can, a conscious effort, Tracy, to speak positively to people. Even when, sometimes you want to speak negative, I say, take a glass of water, drink it, swallow it, and let the positive come out. So I said, it is my words. And I looked back and saw that the words that I have always spoke into my own life are coming to pass. And I said, no, if these words have worked for me, then I have to tell my friends. Even this book was just for my friends, those who were so negative. And now most of them, they don't, before they open their mouth to say, okay, it's Nana, so I need to, okay, Nana, I'll come back to you. I'll go and find the right words and talk to you. So I saw that it was happening. They were changing, so I thought, okay, let's bring it to the world and let them speak positively as well.
So you gave this book to your friends who maybe weren't as positive as you. And what you're saying is that they actually started to keep track of when they were being negative and try to switch it up.
Definitely. There's some, we did like a group thing. I said, in the morning, this is what you're going to say. So I mentor as well. So some of the ladies I mentor, I said, I would tell them, before anything that happens to you, before you utter a word, think. And so I would say 80% of them, their vocabulary started changing. They were doing things that they will come back to me and say, Nana, this thing worked. And I was happy, because when people are around you, you want to affect them. You want to, you want when they rub, what was the word? When they're rubbing shoulders with you, there should be a change. You understand? So when they are around me, or when people are around me, I saw that the way they spoke was different from when maybe they're in a group of people. They wouldn't, people wouldn't swear around me. I have a friend in LA, because I do a lot of stuff in LA. When it comes to me, she would never swear, but she's that person that is always swearing. It's just like,
yeah, okay. I haven't sworn once on this podcast, which is kind of, a miracle.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I must confess, I do not want to put up a front with you. Yes, of course I swear. Well, so, I'm hearing this real mission that you have for people to be intentional, though, because there's energy that goes along with their words.
Definitely.
Isn't that ultimately what you're saying? You're saying, look, there is an energy packet that comes out your mouth when you open your mouth. And so stop and think before you send that energy out into the world.
Definitely. In the book, I say words are food that nourishes the mind and soul. And those words can trigger sight for someone to see things they have never seen before, whether in themselves or in a situation or in their circumstances. So, because I'm Ghanaian, sometimes there are certain words that we use that, I'm going to try and translate, what you're doing will kill me, and then we think it's a joke.
Right.
But then when I read my Bible, it says that life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so you will
Wow.
eat its fruits. So if you keep saying, oh, you're going to kill me, and when they say, oh, Nana, you're going to kill me, I said, oh, Nana, your beauty will kill me. I said, no, say, Nana, your beauty will give me life. Why would my beauty kill you?
Right.
So these were some of the things that I kept correcting in people. Oh, I am so down.
You just cut out for a second, so go back. So you said that you had stopped your friend when they were saying these kinds of words, like, your words are gonna, your beauty's gonna kill me. And you said, how about switch that up to your
Yes.
beauty is going to give me life.
Yes. Yeah. Things like that. These little sayings that we say that don't amount to anything, but because we're so used to saying them, because we're so conditioned in saying them, we've heard our parents say, like we would say, because I'm Ghanaian, so I'll keep going back home and say, oh, look at your face, your hard cracked face, like your dad face, things like that we would think, oh, it's a joke. But then,
Yeah.
or you behave like your drunken uncle, and then you will see that the kid grows and behaves exactly like the uncle who was a drunkard. And then we don't understand why, or people behave in certain ways, but we do not know that the words that we kept speaking to them, their spirit. So the words that we keep speaking, the words that we keep saying it for our circumstances and things like that, we send it to the universe, and what you say out there comes back and perform what you've been saying. So I tell them that, so if you're able to say all these negative things, why don't you just choose to say the positive, the opposite of it, and see if you would think and believe that the negative is going to work. It's the same, the positive is going to work. So why don't let us focus on the positive ones and see. And we've seen that things are happening, you know.
So what do you think the impact, the world's in kind of a weird, precarious place right now, right? There's a lot of stuff happening. There's, more than, well, I don't, I'm almost 50, and more than has happened previously in my lifetime.
Wow.
What do you imagine is the impact?
You look beautiful for 50,
Oh, well, thank you.
Because I saw you live.
Without makeup on. So how do you imagine this idea or this kind of intentionality that you're speaking of, being thoughtful about the way you put your words out there? Could it trickle out? I mean, what could be the impact on the planet and our communities and our health? Sorry to get a little grandiose, but I mean,
We're living life, Tracy.
Yeah.
Every day, you and I wake up, our kids, our spouses, our family, and we see, as you say, everything that is going around us. There's so many of them, maybe we cannot change. But one thing that we can change is the way we speak about it. You understand? One thing that we can change is maybe like you're talking about health. In the book I talk about health, but then I said I am healthy. You say I am healthy, and then when you say I'm healthy, you are telling your subconscious mind something, and then you go out there and work on it, because what you are saying, you become of it. So if I'm saying that I am healthy and I am healthy and I'm healthy, and then I'm going the opposite way, it's not going to work for me.
Right.
So I say I am healthy, I'm going to take care of myself. If I tell myself I'm going to take care of myself, obviously we say, okay, hey Nana, you've got to exercise, you've got to watch the way you eat. The brain will be telling you that, your spirit will be telling you that. You've got to know things that is going on in the body. And it's so interesting that It's like you having a conversation with your spirit. Like there is this inner voice talking to you. And so when you, I don't know whether you've been there before, you tell yourself, I'm going to maybe go on a healthy diet, and then you go past McDonald's, and in your head you want to go to McDonald's, and something is telling, hey, Nana, you were saying to yourself you're going to be healthy. Have you been there before, Tracy?
To McDonald's, or to the place where you
No,
have internal contradiction?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think
So,
I just had the internal contradiction when I had French fries at the grocery store.
you see, so things like that, like maybe some people, they would say, okay, the beginning of this year, they were going to do this, they were going to do that. But then because they don't affirm it, they don't say it,
Mm-hmm.
it gets to a point in life, they just down some few months to come, they just forget about it. But if you keep saying it, if you keep emphasizing on it, you will see that it's like you're programming yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You see that you're forced to do, you automatically you begin to do it, and it was like, oh, I'm doing it. It's because you've been saying it, you've been talking about it, you and as you talk about it, you become partially, something builds in you, life builds in you. Somebody with I had an interview, and a lady said, oh, these it's positive, it's affirmation, but let's face the real deal. I said, the real deal is telling yourself is either you want to live or you want to die. And the moment you tell yourself and you affirm yourself and you say those words that I want to live, something ignites in you. But if you quail in and say, oh, it's so cold, I'm so depressed, this is not going to happen for me, you see that you go down low.
Yeah, I love this way that you just framed it. I think it's really worth slowing down and highlighting it, that there is a living when you speak what you want. You're alive. And when you speak your truth and what you want, and and the opposite is kind of dying. And I think it's provocative. I think it's pretty provocative to say it that way. So listen, I know that we're near the end of time, and you've given me so much generous amounts of your time. I like to end our podcast the same way, which is that there are 7,000 people listen on sidewalks, and we want to learn from you. And so as a way to, you and I have been talking this whole time, but this is an opportunity for you to speak directly to them, because they're going to hear this conversation. And what wish would you offer these volunteers, or what piece of wisdom would you offer them as they go out into the world to listen to strangers on city sidewalks?
Well, my wonderful friends on sidewalk, what I want to say to you is that, first of all, thank you for what you do. Very, very important. And giving your time to listen. Let or make people feel important. Make people feel important, because each and every one of us, on our foreheads is written, make me feel important. So when people are in your space, I have this thing that I say, the power of hello. Maybe I'll write a book on that.
Ooh, I like it.
Say hello. Your hello, just saying hello to somebody by the sidewalk, somebody on the train, on the bus. Your hello and your smile can save a life. And so whatever you're doing, first of all, let people feel important in your presence. Speak greatness into people, because your words, one word also, can make another person's day very splendid or blissful. Because maybe somebody might come out of their house or whatever they're doing, and nobody has said something nice to them. But you making that conscious effort, even it doesn't matter what you're going through yourself, when you make that conscious effort to spike somebody's day, to make somebody's day beautiful by saying, oh, you're beautiful. Oh, I love the color you're wearing. Oh, those little compliments goes a very long way. And this is how we build community. It's not the big things, it's the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And to end it, learning how to appreciate and saying thank you. Because your thank you also makes somebody's day and also opens so many doors for you. So we all should know how to appreciate, say thank you. And I tell you, I have this way of ending, you belong at the top. I believe that all of us, including Tracy, who's given me her time, we all have greatness in us. And when we're able to connect, we bring the greatness out of each other and impact our surroundings. Thank you, Tracy.
You just model it. You don't even have to talk about it. You just model it and how you show up in the world. Thank you so much. This was so fun getting to know you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And very soon I'll get you on my show too.
Okay. Well, I have to come up to England though, I think, to do that, right?
You're next door, so it's not like
I might be up there in February, so I'll come stalk you then.
Okay, let me know. Just give me the dates and I'll make it happen.
All right. So everyone, I will put a bunch of information about Nana Churcher's show in our show notes and where you can find out information about her book. Nana, thank you so much and have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you, Tracy, for having me, and speak soon. And regards to your family and your team.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you for being here and listening to this episode of the Sidewalk Talk podcast. If you like what you heard, tell your friends, tell your family, like and comment on the podcast publisher that you're listening from, and subscribe. This will help us get the word out about changing our culture to one of connection.